Welcome back. Apologize for the mess here, but thought I'd do a quick video on my transplanting or uppotting of my tomatoes. If you recall from my previous video, I did all these in 128 cell trays, plug trays. They turned out fantastic for the most part. I am super happy with this. This is, I would say, good 6-8 inches tall. For the most part, extremely healthy. I've got a few that started to bend just because of light issues, but considering that I did all this from seed and I don't have the best setup, I am pretty thrilled with it. I am uppotting these into these 18 cell sizes. These are individual pots. They, I believe, are 3.5-inch pots. I bought the pots in bulk, and then I just reused the trays with the daisy trays underneath to do that. So, plan is to get as many of these done as I can. Get them outside. We've got some rainy and cloudy weather coming up in the next week, so perfect time to let them kind of sit out and acclimate. These have been sitting out in the sun and the wind as much as I can last 2 or 3 weeks. They've been in at night just because it's still getting cool. However, obviously this whole mass of leaves kind of moves together, so they're not quite as strong as I'd like them to be. So without further ado, let's get some of these transplanted. I'm trying for the most part to take the strongest plants that I have. I'm not terribly worried about some of these that have the curved or slightly curved stems, but I do want something that's pretty strong. If I have something that's leaning over, I tend just to skip those because obviously at this rate they're not going to do what I need to. And since I planted about 300 of them, I have plenty to work with. Select the best. So I'm putting them about 2 inches down. I have them in just a little bit of extra soil here. My plan is to put that around it, build it up a little bit, but then also give them some space to grow. I did this last year and it worked very well. My biggest issue last year was just the timing. It seems that either they're too small and they don't have a good enough root system to transplant well, or they are like these, which are starting to get a little bit too big. I also try and do this when I have decent weather so that they can spend as much time outside as they can. Something like this, I'm not going to stake yet. I'm going to kind of let it do its thing. If I need to come back and stake it later, I will. These are going to go in the ground in less than a month, so I think they'll be just fine. I also try, for the most part, to keep them a single type per tray, just to keep things simple. I've got about a dozen varieties. That might be a little bit too crooked, we'll see. So just for the sake of my sanity and planning, I'm really trying this year, as I've said in previous videos, to plan what I'm doing and to keep track of what I'm doing so that I know for the future how many starts am I doing, how many does that end up with when I actually get to the garden. Despite all the stuff I've done in the past 3 years, I couldn't tell you how many I started and how many actually made it to be solid, mature tomato or pepper for that matter. Overall, extremely happy with the size of these, and extremely happy with just how well they have worked out. So that has definitely been an improvement from past years. I don't have, as I've said in past videos, I don't have a great lighting system, so they definitely don't have the greenhouse experience that I'd like them to have. However, considering what I'm working with, they're doing pretty well. I would say about half of them are solid like this, where they stand up really well on their own, and then I've got about a half that are either a little bit crooked just because they were trying to reach for the light or something else. So anyway, that is my process. Gets a little bit mundane after a while. I have 2 flats of these, 128, so I've got about 256, and then I've got some others that I'm pulling out. I'll probably end up with about 180 out of that, maybe closer to 200, we'll see. I'm really trying to avoid ones like this that are crooked and have reached. Obviously, it'd be great if I had ones like this that were straight up and down and fantastic, but it is what it is. Given the density of these, I'm extremely impressed. this is a pretty dense planting, and to have stuff that's this straight and this strong. Put my hand next to that for reference. I mean, it's a pretty solid stem and nice leaf pattern and everything. So anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.